And live. Hey, here we go. Another Wednesday stream. Another GODFELL stream. And I got some great GODFELL news. So today, I got my hands on the actual trade paperback. And it looks absolutely amazing. It's stunning. Huge credit to Tim Daniels, who just is a graphic maestro. There we go. That's where I wanted to see all the covers, the variants, the first issue. It's beautiful. I don't want to get into spoilers today. I don't know how close I can see some stuff, but maybe some early stuff. There's a few pages to start that I don't seem to like. I'll do one of those. There we go. Now, here you go. Some really nice paper as well. Looks fantastic. Look at it on the wall, and it's a bit of a big guy. 190 something pages, or 190 pages. Very proud of it. Very happy with it. Can't wait to see it on comic bookshelves and bookshops and all those guys. Very happy. Good day. And today on the stream, it's mad. We've done a bunch of these now. I've posted up some recently. And we are in no way running out of characters to draw. And like we have a few left to do. Goes to show how many characters that he's juggling. I didn't realize it until this many in. There's still so many things that can go and take on the stream. There was cool chimeras like trapeze and rat pigeons, and thought if I got stuck I'd have to delve into those guys, but here we are. Anyway, yeah. Format too, decided to just kind of change it up and put something a bit more professional together, as opposed to prints that I had done, and just kind of put the behind things. This is actually kind of created the frame, everything properly. So I'll do the same here, and more stuff for the odds coming up soon. I'll do the same there too. Pardon all the stuttering, hearing throats, all kind of stuff. It's about to give out on me. I think it's ideal because I go to kind of think of it weekly, and clearly I'll need to talk there. So timing is everything. But anyway, here we go. This is Efther, and he was the leader of the film before Avernus took over. You can see him very early on in the. I can show you. Look at that. So, in the first few pages, the god crash lands the ground. Let's see, make sure I keep online a few times. Whoop, we're on again. Just as soon as the god lands into the ground, it's kind of hear a bomb explosion. There's a page where you see the effect of that. You can see these online probably better than I love bleaching out the pages here. We can see the god hitting the ground. You can see the world moving like it's a massive tidal wave. And in the middle there, the little guy down there, that's Efther. There he is. That's where he started off. So here he is now, and the big inspiration for Efther was Dalsim from Street Fighter. You didn't get to see much of him in that sense in the book, but when I got it as a draw him here, I thought I'd really do it. Did a big massive kind of a yoga pose, and he's still in the shadow of Avernus, who clearly had his eyes on position as leader of the family. So yeah, I guess we'll just get stuck into this. Huge thanks to everyone who's been liking and subscribing and following the streams, the YouTube channel that we're actually on tonight. We're live on YouTube for the first time. And figured out the music is gone again. Hooray, music! We'll just get stuck into this. I'm gonna draw Efther first, and then I'll come back and I'll tackle the shadow of Avernus, kind of similar to what I did with the Ben Grimm sketch. So, here we go. Efther. Turn this down a bit more. So you can kind of see here on my layers. Pull out a bit more. You can see a model sheet. So this is what I sent on to the guys in Vault, publish their book, to the Vault, and in case anyone wanted to draw them, and Dave Goodman did draw them and did a great job. He's a good man, that makes her. But just so when they went to draw them, they had some kind of point of reference. It wasn't just a weird description they'd done or a weird scribble I'd done. There was some kind of model sheet that was set for them. And the skull and the animal and some other kind of chimera that exists in the world of character. There goes the voice. Oh, not good. Alright. It's not going to talk to him now. I'm going to keep going. Crazy. But we're going to get stuck in here again. I can already tell my brush was too big. I like it at about 7.1. I don't know why that 0.1 matters, but it does. I was doing some concept stuff before I had to clock out at 5 today. And generally when that happens, because you will be doing something you may haven't done before, you might have to paint something a certain way, you might edit your brushes and stuff. So there's a bit of a hangover there. But I've already told you guys how careful I am about my brushes, in particular I am about my brushes to say. And I know that I like it at 7.1. You know, instantly from the feel of it, something wasn't quite right. I have been doing a few of these now, and I noticed in the first week how much an ask it was. It's tough to fit in another couple of drawings on top of what you're also working on, and what I keep going back to is how freaking amazing it is that Chris Hanley manages to do a path over every month and doesn't die of plague at the end. I'm only a few weeks in, my voice is given out, nose is blocked out. I need to know what he's doing. I need that Chris Hanley immune system. It would also help to have his inking skills. I wouldn't mind some of them either, but I definitely need the immune system. And all this time, trying to eat right, drink some water, exercise, and then your body just betrays you. I'm running it into the ground, I guess. I guess I'm not already getting that into it. Oh, that's a big finger. There we go. As I said before, I don't usually do fills unless it's create a certain kind of feel or texture. As you can see, I'm not just drawing in the shape of the nail and getting the paint bucket there. I'm sticking with the and one thing I kind of found with the book was, even though I give myself so much time, not give myself, it just ended up that I had so much time to get used to the characters before I had to start the book. But I thought I'd have it figured out. I thought I'd have them figured out, their shapes, all that kind of stuff. Because I've often seen guys and girls, so guys, everyone in between, talk about how they feel like they've really only figured out the character as soon as they've finished the book. And I thought I'd get a step ahead of that. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way as I was working on it. I guess maybe with the pressure of deadlines, you know, you're trying to move something around pretty quickly. Maybe you discover a shape in your gestural work before we start committing to anything finished, that you find some kind of goodness in there, some kind of trick to help you render these guys in a certain way. And because this guy was someone I didn't really draw a lot of, I drew him a little bit, saw a little picture of him in issue 1. That was all of him in issue 1 until issue 5. And there was really only kind of cold ones at the start where there's kind of a flashback to another period of time, and he's in that as the representative of the Falnoct, along with the Masked King and the Phyllox. Phyllox are probably going to be what I'll tackle next week. They're kind of fun. Brother, but sisters, all trying to get Daddy's approval. I think on Friday I might tackle another Neelai. There's a really cool Neelai character I really enjoyed. Chris, the writer of the book, Christopher Sabella, he wanted the character, these very strange looking kind of monsters, in our book called the Neelai, and one of them has this ability to kind of bridge the gap between languages. He has these weird tentacles that curl up his neck and he can unfurl, and the end of these tentacles is a ball that opens up like a flower with a tongue in it, and it grabs itself into the back of a person's head, kind of like Neo going into the Matrix, you know. And when they're in this thing, they can kind of understand each other, whether they speak the same language or not, and they also can end up in this kind of other world, you know, and almost kind of digitally created space. I think I'll attack him because he's really pretty fun. He's I didn't get a word last Friday. It's a switchboard. On his stomach is like a load of cord and things where he and dials, and he has 4 arms. They're all turn that on. They're all kind of set up in such a way that he can quickly move things around, go after his mouth flowers have lodged on the people, and he can move his hands around and in the correct kind of line, so to speak, for them all to speak to one. Sounds weird, but yeah, I think I'm gonna draw him on Friday. Job willing. It's tough fitting these things in, and I have to get a bit more done because it was a bank holiday this week, hence why Monday's drawing was yesterday. Thanks for tuning in. And then I'm also at Dingle Animation Festival this weekend, so I kind of just want to get everything kind of wrapped up and out of the way before I further go out and ruin my voice at the festival this weekend. So I'm coming back to his head last. The character I'm not all that familiar with, and I just sat down. So I'll kind of warm up with the rest of them, and then I'll settle into his face and eyes and stuff in a minute. But I'm feeling this is alright. I was trying to figure out the kind of trick to digitally penciling and then thinking traditionally in the last few weeks. It's not something I've done a lot of. And on the first few Instagram lives I did, I left myself a little too much to figure out, and I had to go back and do some traditional pencils on the digital pencils, so I could go in and manage to hold some kind of conversation. Remember to tell people that the book's coming out, and do a nice drawing as well. So it's been a fun learning curve. But yeah, here we are now. Multi-platforming, YouTube and Twitch tonight. Pardon if that blew your ears out there. I'll remember not to do it next time. I can avoid the face, but let's not avoid the hand. No, that's not the right thing. I don't know how many times when I was penning this, I drew this hand. If you ever get stuck like that, instead of wasting time, like I almost did, trying to block it out, find the shape, if something about it isn't settling right, take a photo of yourself acting out the same pose. Or sometimes if there's important lines of dialogue, act it out and take a video, and you'll kind of find more natural gestures and poses that you can reference from, as opposed to something you think it should look like. And I kind of find that a lot of the time I'm struggling with a pose. It's for some reason it's not working. It's because the I think it should look like this is incorrect, and if I had just gone back and done my homework early and created the right reference for myself, it wouldn't have been an issue at all. Just fixing some of the lines. Some of them are a bit too heavy or a bit too thin there. Excuse me. Excuse me. What is going on with my voice? Like I said, it is a good bit of work trying to fit in these dreams. But it's the first time in a long time that I've been consistently drawing for myself instead of for hire. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it might be hard to go and do, but I've gotten something out of it at the very end. It's just been kind of meditating almost. Look at that. That's why I moved that down. It's smaller than that one. It shouldn't be that small, but I didn't want it to tangent. So let's make this a bit bigger. Maybe make this guy bigger. Coming around there. There you go. We don't like tangents. Tangents are bad. They flatten your work. They'll be odd. They'll create points of interest that you don't mean to be points of interest. People will not be able to look away from them. They're just bad. They're just so bad. We don't like tangents, and we avoid them at all costs. Now, this is still tangenting, and I don't like it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the trusty ellipse tool here that Sketchbook has. I'm going to find the basic character shape that I've been using. I'm going to try and apply it here in such a way that, there we go. In this guy. This just lets me kind of see where my lines are starting and finishing. So I know if there's going to be a tangent or not. And now I can see that that guy Might be a bit too big. Yeah. There. I thought it would be very kind of excuse me, interesting for the leader of a death cult, you know, who wouldn't be very enlightened. I don't think. Act as though he is an enlightened individual, yoga poses and all that stuff that goes along with that. Gave me a lot to play with, and it's another reason why I think he's a lot of fun, and kind of wish I'd drawn him more. And the pectoral here is going right up to the arm, so it's not like going to go around a circle. It kind of has to travel around and down. Again, watch your tangents. I wasn't very fond of that finger anyway, or this one, to be honest. Let's fix him, and then we get that circle bead right. Yeah. So if I was doing this traditionally, I probably would go back and pencil it a bit more, or I would take out an ellipse tool and do something very similar to what I'm doing here. The technique doesn't really change just because you're moving to something digital. It should stay the same. It's actually why I quite like Sketchbook Pro. There was no learning it. I didn't have to go and figure something else out. It was just a different name on a tool that I've been using for years, traditionally. There we go. Again, I keep forgetting. Apologies if I'm clearing my throat or blowing earphones out or something. And don't be afraid to go in and dust up some things. Things aren't great when they kind of look very new and polished and stuff. This is the leader of a death cult. These beads probably been through some bloodbaths, literal bloodbaths, I imagine. And you can kind of scuff them up, kind of give them a life. Excuse me. So, to get my hand on the tray today. Pretty psyched up, bad throat or not. It's a bit of fun. And there's things in it that I hadn't seen, I hadn't been told about until I went and had to source a digital copy of the trade very recently. Press release. And there was kind of chapter pages in it that they had put in that looked fantastic. Again, I think I said at the start here, but huge shout out to Tim Daniels. He's a real credit to the ball team. Great guy. Really nice. I've said very little to the guy, but he's always a bit of a laugh, I get a good vibe off him, and his work speaks for itself. Too high. There we go. Actually, he wouldn't really have that there. He wouldn't be biting down on his There we go. Well, we changed up the music a little bit for this one kicks off again. I think we will. This one. I use this on one of the previous streams, one of the older ones. Probably the first one. Seeing as I am able to multi-platform stream now, I might just do that going forward a bit more. Yes, drawing traditionally is actually a bit too much fun, and I'd only keep it up just for myself more than anything, but I kind of feel like using StreamYard to do it on Twitch and now YouTube gives me a bit more variety in what I can do with the video afterwards than what I can do with the Instagram live video. Instagram live video is difficult to download sometimes, and I think it's better using a suite like this and then bring it into the likes of Instagram live afterwards. But the crack Instagram live has been pretty good. There's far more comments, there's far more interaction. So please, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, feel free to join in, say something, say hello, tell me what character you'd like to see me draw next. Maybe you'd like to see some of those cat monkeys that I was talking about. I haven't drawn the god yet. I'll get to that, don't worry. Kind of saving that one. Okay, I'm watching my line weights, trying to keep the guy on model, and just trying to do something visually interesting as well. I'm kind of a sucker for these kind of shots. I must kind of change it up more. I did Jinx commission a while ago, actually, and it's actually up for sale at the moment. The guy who commissioned it was no longer able to pay for it. It was unfortunately made redundant. There goes out to him. But I kind of found that the pose I did on that was actually far more dynamic than some of the stuff I've been drawing on the stream. So I might revisit that kind of idea of foreshortening. There's a big hand and stuff, and things kind of coming out towards the camera. God, I was complaining about hands before. That was a tough one to do. Especially when you have them kind of come out close to the camera, because people are going to see that. It's going to be one of the first things they see. It could be something you use to lead them into the rest of the character, you know? Like, for example, everyone kind of looks at a drawing from top to bottom, left or right, yeah. So your eyes are going to go this way and go down the page that way. And then when you're aware people are going to do that, you should be thinking about your rule of thirds, which I've said I always kind of leave in here as a kind of a guide when I need it. Just so I know what people are looking up here, I just leave them down into Efther here. Yeah. Always be aware of what you're trying to do, the point of it, and where you want the eye to go. And there could be a very important kind of wobbly and weird organic, but there could be a very important story beat you need people to see. So make sure it's at the right part of the screen if you take it, and they won't accidentally miss it if it's too wide, or if you're actually drawing the eye to another part of the page or the panel, that won't work either. I don't think I came up with a name for the kind of bird skull or bird animal this was supposed to be. Deer bird? Efther clearly regards it as a powerful animal. Considering he's kind of suited up to look like them, carries around his staff. So he has a staff, as the Fellow, and so does Avernus. Avernus has a staff of human skulls, and it's not canon because he and Chris never really talked about this part of the work, because it was unnecessary. It's just something I've been thinking about while I've been drawing them. But in my head, I think one of the skulls on Avernus' staff is Efther's. It's funny to stop to think about while you're drawing. Whose skull is this? It's the weirdest industry, comics and animation, I guess, because like the notes you get from directors or supervisors would be very kind of strange. They'd only exist in this part of the art sector, you know. Like I worked on a show years ago. One of the first shows I ever worked on. It was called Baby Jake, and I remember getting one of the notes from my director at the time, and it was more bum bouncing, please, because there was a baby on it, and because walk cycles were like assuming, and time was not on our side, and the baby would bounce around on his bum. But like, this is such a weird edit to get, you know. Any other industry raises an eyebrow, but it was just like, oh yeah, okay, more bum bouncing, no problem. Animation. You think kind of coming up with these chimeras, these animals don't exist. When you're kind of up against a deadline, that you could just, look, it's a mole rat bat, and draw something close to it and just go with that. But I don't know if anyone does it, but I kind of go down these large holes of gathering the right reference. And I can't remember like how many versions of antlers I looked at before I settled on something like these. So many. But as I keep saying, 3% more effort can make a huge difference. Oh, left out of the border. Whoops. Talking and drawing, huh? I have to get that out of a t-shirt. Talking and drawing is hard. Should have been a doctor. Talking and drawing is too hard. Huh. It'd be easier, right? So in the book, for the most part, a lot of the Fenlock's outfit was graphically used as opposed to something that was maybe very subject to how light would fall on it. I'm breaking kind of a rule here, as it's it's an illustration, and I am rendering his. It's not a uniform, but like a uniform for the Fenlocks, a little differently than I did in the book. Oops, that's a weird tone. I was given a great tip on drawing feet when I was in college, and the tip was, if you're drawing a foot, and break it down, and everyone was drawing toes kind of like this. It was looking kind of weird, and our teacher gave us a great tip about looking at toes with shapes with knuckles and things, so you'd have kind of a step, like a stairs almost. And what we were kind of getting out of that is a sense of weight, a bit of pressure behind the foot, and stuck with me to this day. Something I think about when I'm drawing feet, drawing stairs. Hot tip. Just on the run up to the, even to the release of GODFELL, but as the issues are coming out, I was lucky enough to be invited to a few schools, give a few lectures, my techniques, kind of stuff. I really enjoyed it. It's something I've done a whole lot of before. I'm kind of thinking about doing it a bit more. Maybe I'll do it on the channel here. Kind of I guess teaching videos would be the way to go. Like maybe perspective and design, laying out a comic book page, maybe doing the same with a storyboard, how to tell a story tutorially, that kind of stuff. That could be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll draw his Ultimate Warrior bands. Lock these into a shape Don't get too caught up in drawing each one. It's kind of like hair. Keep it really simple. And just apply a little bit of cop on to it as well. So clearly the one at the end here should be longer. And you can have one maybe behind that to show the circle loop around the back of the leg. But yeah, be smart about those things. Don't get caught up in drawing each and every one. Doesn't work out. It's no good. Kind of takes away from it. If you can find a way of drawing less and kind of hinting at more. For some reason, it's really aesthetically pleasing. People kind of like it, especially artists. I think artists kind of look at it's their jam. You know, this is, oh yeah, that's the good stuff. But like just really simple. Yep, that'll do. I turn that off as I get a bit lost between rough and what I've just done. You don't get to leave in the leg there. One of the joys of working digitally, you can kind of figure it out as you go along some of the ways. As I'm doing the traditional live drawings, I gotta know what I'm at before I get in. There's a lot more light on the top of his legs. That's where the light's coming in. A lot more space on the top of the leg here. That has very little black on it because that's where the light's doing is coming down. It's quite thin at the end as the light's not hitting that part, just kind of running off it. Things like that will kind of lend some volume and shape to your drawings. And he has an asymmetrical skirt because I want it to be difficult. I had said on my stream last Friday that in no way am I kind of running out of characters, but there's a few things I'd like to maybe have another go at, like another shot of Zanzi and Net, or maybe them individually because they're the heroes of the book, and I feel like the book should be on them again. For no other reason other than there'd also be a lot more. They're very fun to draw. I really like them. What I was trying to say there, what I was getting to was sorry, talking and drawing. There we go again. Forgetting what I was about to go and say. There's a few covers that we pitched when we were working on covers for the book. I thought that we decided to go with another one that I had gone with. There's a couple of ones in there that I still quite like, and maybe on the next stream on Wednesday I will. I don't like that shape there. I'll put it glance red again. I'll draw maybe one of those covers, or at least I'll start it. Remember to get a bit weird about your shadows and where you should put them, that kind of stuff. You're not sure. And start placing them in graphically. And as you do that, it'll either they come to you as like, oh, that's not right, I should do it like this, or you'll end up with something, a graphic that could be very pleasing to look at and might still actually carry across the essence of your intent, where you're dropping in shadows or draping your characters in some kind of graphic shape or use color. On a lot of the GODFELL characters, and on gods actually, in the character silhouettes, there's some graphic use of black to really hit home that visual entity with them as soon as you can. So as soon as the audience or the reader is looking at the material, they'll know instantly who someone is just by really looking at those graphic silhouettes, by where you can drop in your pools of black, and where you can kind of find the shapes to play with that will even make those characters more unique to everyone else around them in your story. I'm doing these spot blacks. I could almost get the paint bucket out for these. It's just a flat black color, because I wanted to contrast against Avernus's shadow that's going to be behind him. Now, there'll be no light hitting this part of his leg as it curls under him, so I'll have to render that anyway to show that it's under. And look, he's kind of free balling it. Didn't realize. There you go. GODFELL's got it all. Put the padding. I can fix that in a sec. Excuse me. Just like the hand, this was another kind of awkward shape to figure out. So I had to go back and pull some reference of myself in the pose to try and get it correct. I have a little gorilla pod here. I do. I'll go with my phone in one of these. And set it up on the ground, and then take the photo from the angle that I needed to be at. And they're only 20 quid or something. They're not very expensive at all, but it's been a really handy piece of kit. I recommend checking them out. Now remember the steps. And his whole body is on this one leg. There'll be a real sense of weight hitting this foot. Heavy lines, shadows were needed. Definitely make sure it looks like those toes are really planted on top of that thing. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Again, lock it out into a basic shape. Don't draw every little Ultimate Warrior band. I gotta find out what they're called. I gotta stop calling it an Ultimate Warrior band. I just saw an opportunity there to just blend a bit more idea of space and shape. Supposed to block it off. It's one big line. And it's an asymmetrical kind of skirty thing he has, so it comes down lower on this side than on the other one. Reason why model sheets are important. Less so in comics. You kind of find people taking liberties with designs in comics. But if you're working in animation, everyone kind of has to adhere to the model sheet, or things will get weird very quickly. Not in a good way. Okay. We're right on time here now as well. Skulls, staff, and then the Averna shadow. And then we do a tangent sweep and our line weight sweeps. I try to do them as best I can on the stream, but just so happens that generally the second I turn off the camera, I spot 7 million tangents and 3 million weight issues. So I'll often fix them shortly before I post up the picture, the finished picture. When I'm working for hire, if I'm doing something that's not live, I guess, I tend to finish it and come back to it a day or so afterwards, throw an eye on it, and see if I can still spot tangents. If I can, I get rid of them. And line weights too. You don't want your lines getting messy and convoluted, or less is more. And if you see something that needs to go, get rid of it. You'll know straight away. There's a part of this job where you kind of have to be your own worst friend by being your own best editor, and that's a part of it. You've got to be able to look at what's in front of you and make critical analysis of, is this good? Is that bit important? Is that correct? Could that be different? Etc. etc. You'll find all these questions and you'll spend too much time thinking about them. but it's just how it goes. The amount of human skulls I've drawn, the amount of times I have looked for a human skull reference is just crazy. I must be on a watch list. Creepy. I remember seeing recently it was a photo of a skull that had loads of extra teeth. And it looked really creepy, it looked really weird. And I found out then, I googled what it was. It was a skull of a young child who passed away, and because all the adult teeth hadn't come down, they're still there. It was really just nightmare stuff. Or I forget what it's called now. There's like God, I don't know what you call it, but basically it's a thing like where people can start growing extra teeth in places where you don't usually grow teeth from. Termina dentata or something, I can't remember what it's called. But our god in Godfell has it, where the entire top of the roof of its mouth teeth. Reference from someone who also has that. Yeah, really, bodies are strange. You know? Why did it do that? And you can kind of see I'm applying the same idea of the hair and the Ultimate Warrior bands. Gotta find out what they're really called. The teeth here as well. Blocked out shapes. I didn't draw every individual tooth. Just give a hint of some. And that's all you need. I'm not cutting corners doing that. It's actually far better. It's worthwhile drawing them enough that you start finding these places that you can do these kind of things with. Just planting down some shadow. I suggest that this is sitting on top of the skull, that's all. Nothing major there. Okay, now the staff. We get a wonderful ruler tool because his staff is pretty straight in comparison to the kind of gnarly stuff we had been drawing. Some of the Fellnots have, like, their bows were kind of salvaged from other materials and body parts from animals and people. So they're not going to be perfectly straight in any sense, but because this guy existed, or he was the leader outside of the god's body for a period of time, I think he would have been able to secure himself a broom handle or staff handle, whatever you want to call it, or something of that kind of ilk anyway. think I can actually stream on a few other places while I'm doing this. I might look into streaming on Instagram Live here the next time as well. Maybe next Wednesday I'll have a look at that. And then I don't know if like the comment section here is for one of them or for all of them. No idea. Early days. We'll find it out together. Excuse me. Need coffee. I like coffee. Take a step back and have a quick look at everything. Not bad. Yep, let's keep going. It's going all right. I didn't think of it when I was penciling this was the shadow of this golem I have on this fur. So my understanding of fur on staffs and spears and stuff was that it was to stop the blood running down onto the handle that would make it for an unsecure grip for the user. I don't think this is the same kind of drill here for Efther. I think it's more like a mystical icon of power in a way. You ever see 13th Warrior, the Horns of Power, you know? Kind of something in that vein. But these are the things you kind of lose yourself when you're studying for your designs. You look up loads of stuff, things you probably don't even need to look up, you know? And then you kind of go about trying to find out which one actually works for you, or if none of them work for you at all, and then go with something completely different. This is what you gotta do, and sometimes what works is the one that doesn't adhere to physics, our sense of physics, or anything like that. Even it's just if it, I guess it's that kind of rule of cool. If it works, it works, and why do anything else with it? Don't forget to draw through things. So here at the beak, we'll probably show at least some of the broom handle here. Broom handle, the staff handle. I'm a leader of a death cult. Here's my broom. Fear me. I was thinking of the terror birds when I was drawing this skull. Not because I referenced it when I was working on it, but because I thought of them after I finished with the design. I'd already gone ahead and went, oh, that would have been really useful to look up those big, massive, giant, terrifying birds. Missed opportunity. Oh my god. A tad better. Okay. Got the horns on the front. I don't usually color my work, but there's a couple of these ones I'd like to go back and throw some color on. The Marvel one and the one of Sansi and Ned standing back to back, which is one of those poses that I look at now in one of these streams and wonder, like, why didn't I think about doing that as one of the covers for the book? Such an obvious one to do for it. Why didn't I do that, guys? I have no idea. But I think I'd like to go back and throw some color on it. The GODFELL book tour is still happening as well. If you're able to follow that online, there's a free copy of that available to anyone who signed up to it. There's 2 copies. There's a bunch of websites you go in and enter, and if you're the lucky winner, you get yourself a copy of the trade. And I'm really happy with, I mean, my first book. I've been working animation the entire time. I haven't been able to secure comic work until now. And really, really, really chuffed with that design. It looks fantastic. I'm not talking about the art. That would be really egotistical of me to do that, you know. I'm talking about like Tim Daniels design on it, and it's just brilliant. And the likes of Tree and Vittorio, they just make me look better than I am. And that's what you want in colorists. Well, I can see now that I made that a bit long compared to this one, so let's bring that in a bit. The joys of working digitally. There we go. I said digitally kind of weird there, didn't I? Fix it in post. Never fix it in post. Never do that. Each step of production has to result in the product becoming more beautiful. Paul Shanahan. Something he said to me that has also stuck with me this many years down the road, and I very much believe it. I don't think you can really fix anything in post. If it's not right at the beginning, I think you have to go back and get it right. Otherwise, it's always going to be off, and generally it ends up being more work trying to fix. I think I'll change up the music again there for the fun of it. Excuse me. I think this was kind of fun last night. It's got a weird name. It's called Feeding the Ducks. It's funny, all these lo-fi and royalty-free choices I've been playing for the streams. Like my Spotify is totally copped on, and I'm playing a lot of it now, so I get recommended tons of like lo-fi and stuff of that genre, but none of it was royalty-free. Teasing me with good music that I can't use for these things. Come on, Spotify. Okay, so I did something wrong there. I had it open at the bottom instead of open at the top, and what I mean by that is this line was open here. It should have been open at the top like that. I'm going to round that out. It's very flat. This is a bone, not a piece of paper. I'm not just throwing in these lines arbitrarily. I'm trying to make a decision on what is aesthetically pleasing and something that can describe the shape of the item. Okay, we're going to throw in a little shadow on this guy. Same deal as the knee. The light is coming from up top, so less white at the bottom, or less white at the bottom, more on top. Not particularly happy with that thumbnail. Kind of tangenting, isn't it? It's kind of joining into that. That's no good. We don't like that. We'll have to change it. And don't forget to throw in your scuffs, etc., to make it look like it's been around more than a day. And don't take a ruler over something like this. It'll make it look really flat. Try to do this freehand as best as you can. Always drawing from the shoulder. And if I was drawing traditionally, I go back in with a paint marker or something, and I just do little lines like this, because the scuff marks can go into this as well. They don't just have to go into the it doesn't have to be black on white. You can apply some of these scratches. I'm using a transparent brush here at the moment. No, I'm using a white one actually. I should have been using transparent one. I thought I picked that, but you get the same result. not if I was going to paint later. I'd have to get rid of that white again. Okay, so we are now an hour 15 in. We have Efther, the skulls, and the staff done, and then we're going to draw in Avernus. And what I thought would be kind of cool is if it wasn't just a shadow, if we still had the missing bottom lip and chin and the chest area that Avernus has in the shadow. It might be another one I colored down the line, actually. I see a lot of red happening here. Did I want to do something different? No. So I was thinking about doing it on another layer. I might for the outline, but I think for the blood and muscles and bones that are now exposed, I am going to just draw them in like I drew in Efther. Funny, like I helped come up with these guys, like, but every time I say a few of their names, like, did I say it right? Is that correct? Any other creators do that? Like, you come up with a name, but you wonder sometimes. I used to do that with Rage Al Ghul. Used to call him Raz. I think it was the Fat Man on Batman podcast where we all had it confirmed that it was Rage. Now I'm already saying Rage wrong. Got a win. So I know on Twitch this will archive itself temporarily at the very least. I don't know if it does on YouTube yet though. I just noticed there I didn't draw the knuckles correct. That's better. There we go. That would have been one of those things I would have spotted after the stream, having drawn now maybe 2 or 3 times, and absolutely kicked myself for not seeing it earlier. Thank God I saw it on the stream. Ooh. This is all inner workings of the neck, and this is the collarbone. And because when a muscle seems to be attached to the bone here, again, not drawing straight lines on some of it. I did there though, didn't I? Like, actually have some muscle come up on it. That. And it gives you a good point then to draw lines down from that to show where the muscle is wrapping around the body. See me do that now in a second. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, now. So when I drew Avernus, whatever day last week that was, I mentioned that there was like this blood constantly seeping out of that wound. So every so often you gotta throw in these little shapes of blood as he walked around like a living ghoul. I'm just going to make a new layer here because I'm feeling the lack of coffee and being run down, and trying to start the line here, follow it through to here, and keep it here and here, and make it all look like it's one thing. Would just annoy me right now. So I'm going to embrace the fact I'm working digitally and draw the line in once, hopefully not tangent anywhere. So when I say draw it in once, I mean draw it 7 million times. And yeah, there we go. I can just erase the bit here afterwards if I don't need it. Same up here and up here. And I just realized that song is very short, or at least feels shorter than the other ones. So I'm going to go to, what's this one? Nope. Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, all right. Back in, and we're still on the right layer. That's it. Yeah, don't like it. Get rid of it. Right, that should do. I'll do a really big pool of seeping blood in there. Why not? If you got the issues, you would have seen the cover of issue 5 with Avernus as he's feeding his mole rat bats from his seeping blood. Just in case you didn't think he was a tough guy. That's how he feeds his pets. Wait until you see the big fight between him and Zanzi. It's something. Alright. That line there is a bit too heavy for me. Thin that out, there we go. Now more of that dripping blood stuff. Keep it up, for goodness sake. Thanks, Kev. Cheers. Appreciate that. And you're not just kind of throwing in lines weirdly here. We're looking for big shape, and we're looking to actually make it look like it's running blood, running water. If you've ever animated any water before, it's something like traditionally, I mean traditionally animated. It's kind of just goes into a space, and the rest of it falls in that way. You kind of get a feeling of something quite tangible moves that actually runs in a particular direction, and that's the effect you're going for here. You want to feel that the blood is spilling out after it kind of pools or seeps so much it starts to run down his chest. The blood up here, it's not that it's seeping out across his chest. That's from kind of dried blood from when Zanzi cut him open. She needed his chest skin, you see. There was a map tattooed onto Avernus's chest of the god's body that Zanzi and Net are traveling through. And he wasn't going to give it to her, so she took it. Like, again, these are kind of things to think of when you get into it. Like, it's a nice, it's a more shapely cut around here, and around the neck and the chin then it's clearly more jagged. And the reason for that was I thought it would be cool if she ripped off the bit after she got to the point of cutting around the nice little map she needed and just ripped it up. It's from about here up, she just yanked it off. Powerful woman. Don't worry, you won't feel too bad for her. I'm just looking now and I can see that comment from Kevin, thanks Kevin, is from YouTube. So now I know there's a different emblem on the app and that the comments come from. Good to know. Thanks Kevin. Every day's a school day. And you don't want things twinning. I just noticed there in my pencils that this bloody shape on the teeth and this one a little too similar, so they gotta go. And there's a little bone here that the muscle kind of misses sometimes. So I left it in his design because I'm an awful shame to admit it now, considering he walks around most of the book without his chin. But like Bruce Campbell, his championed chin was something I referenced for his design before we ripped it off. Almost a shame he didn't get to keep that Bruce Campbell chin. But I am noticing a few opportunities here with these sketches. I think we could have made a couple more, or would have given us a few more options for covers. Sure, look it. Maybe we'll do more prints on the Bennessy store or something, because yeah, as I said, it was my first book. There was a lot of stuff learned on the fly, and covers was a big one. I really want to do my own covers on my own book, and because I'd never done it before. Not really, kind of on and off. Not to the same level as I did for Godfell. I learned a lot every time I did a cover, because you're not just thinking about an aesthetic image, something kind of cool, something's going to make people go, oh wow, what's that? You are thinking about that, but you're also trying to stand out from everything else that's on the shelf. Everything else on the shelf is trying to stand out from what you're doing, and it's tricky. It's real tricky, because everyone's using the same tools, the same devices to try and stand out. So the winner on the day is maybe who chose yellow instead of white or something. We were lucky on the Godfell covers. We picked a theme from about issue 2 after seeing some of Trina's colours. Yellow would be a theme going forward, and we stuck with that. I think every week our issue, or every month that our issue came out, I really do think that our issues really stood out from everything else around it, and there wasn't a lot of yellow being used. Luckily enough, or maybe it just wasn't positioned beside very yellow stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna lock that in case I do something silly like drawing it. I'm gonna get a brush that I like playing with. Oh, wait a minute, that's not the brush. Uh-oh. Can I do this brush anyway? Probably could. Yeah, alright, we'll use this brush anyway. This could be fun. Now I'm gonna draw in the shadow with this brush. And just kind of loosely, I'm gonna go back in after and tighten up the outline, and there. Before I do that, you can see a little finger that Avernus hangs off his outfit. So Efther has these, I keep calling them Ultimate Warrior bands on his legs, but Avernus's version of an Ultimate Warrior band is human fingers. Again, he's not a good guy. He's literally our bad guy. And pardon for all the sniffles. I need to find out how Chris Samney does this every day for the month of October without getting sick and fit in everything else he has to fit in. I'm gonna make this translucent. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know if I can with this brush. I think it's too. It might be too blurry. If I could, I think I'd enjoy the effect. So a bit sharper on these ones. I'll go back to the nib and get rid of the paint. Again, if I was working traditionally on this, I would have had to mask and fluid or tape it up or something. I did the Avernus picture on Instagram last week. As I was drawing it, I kind of spotted an opportunity at the very end to do an ink wash, and because usually you kind of work from light to dark in ink wash, and I'd already kind of inked the picture basically. I've pretty much done the entire thing. I had to use kind of wet on wet to get some kind of wash behind them, just to make sure that it wouldn't go in on the ink, run some stuff that I'd already decided was finished, or kind of see past parts, and I really don't mean it to. I had to be very careful. And I haven't done wet on wet watercolors or inking in a long time. too far in there. And I don't want to like draw an outline with this so much. So end up with lines like that and it didn't look great. Make that a bit bigger, and I'll try and just and then even it out with a bit of this. The bigger I make this brush, the kind of more loose it looks. Oh, I selected the wrong brush there. I want to make it kind of tight again for some of these outlines. And I might find that this effect doesn't work, and that's okay. I can go back in and try something else. There's no point in being afraid to try something. We're all here to try and learn to get better. And you won't do that by staying in your comfort zone. Yeah, it's not looking so bad. Let's see how it works now at the very end, and then tidy up a little bit. At the moment it kind of looks a bit smoky. I might see to that in a minute. I don't want it to look smoky. I wonder if that's it. It's kind of fading away. It's a little bit smoky. We'll see that in a minute. Okay, I get the nib out now, and I'm going to start taking these bits out. Turn it off. Better again. Yep, that'll be it. Okay, so actually, I don't think I need the nib. I think just the lasso. Select and delete. So even before he had his mouth ripped off, his mouth was always covered in blood. This is one of the kind of fell not to waste or don't waste the victims that have fallen because they weren't worthy enough to be part of the fight. And I guess meat's hard to come across inside the god's body. I always vary how I do these kind of things because, again, it was something I kind of figured out I do as I was going about it, but kind of do that digitally, whereas if I'm why did I do that? If I'm working traditionally, I have all this kind of figured out before. I know what step I'm doing this one on, and then this one on, and this one, so that and each step is deliberately chosen so that it doesn't affect the next step for them. You know, like when you start throwing down marker sometimes on something you penciled, I often find that you're better off inking it before you throw any markers down on your pencils, because then the markers kind of trap the pencil and it's there no matter what you do, and you're not getting rid of it. It's just stuck underneath your marker, and then you're left with those lines that you really didn't intend to leave there. So you kind of have to be far more deliberate in the process when you're working traditionally. When you're working digitally, you can kind of be a bit lackadaisical, maybe, experimental, for sure. And not just in your technique, but also in like your posing. There would have been a number of occasions where I was working on something traditionally, only to find out that maybe that was a wrong pose, or yeah, it's not quite right. You might use a pose to lead an eye a certain way around the page, and as you're dealing with figuring out why it's not doing the job you intended to do, you can just open it in there and start figuring out and problem solving that issue immediately. Whereas when you're kind of working traditionally, as soon as you've gotten to a certain point, you kind of don't want to have to go to the bother of putting a new page on top of your drawing the new pose you want on the new page, and then cutting out a shape from that page and your old page at the same time to merge them together. It gets messy. It's a sort of a pain. I've had to do it a few times, but I'd still do it traditionally rather than try and fix it afterwards digitally. I just realized that, and it's probably more beneficial to try and fix that digitally. The reason why I try to draw digitally completely if I'm working digitally, as opposed to draw something traditionally, send your stuff off. You might get some edits in, and you might have no time to really fit them in, and you might be more keen to go back and then fix them digitally. But then your line on your digital edits probably not match your traditional ones so much. It will look a little bit off. So much. It's actually the reason why I started drawing digitally, because first off, the industries have kind of gone that way. I needed to know how to do both, and secondly, I just hated. I just absolutely hated how much my line would change when I scanned it in and got my scan drawing ready for color or anything like that. I was very particular. I still am. I'm very particular about my lines, and I found that something wrong there. Control D. Come on. There we go. And when something doesn't let me keep get rid of all that now. What happened there? There we go. My son doesn't let me keep the line that I painstakingly drawn traditionally. It annoys me no end. And so I had to find a program that would allow me to draw with the line that I wanted. And Sketchbook Pro here. And Clip Studio. With both those programs. Maybe I'll do a video Clip Studio next time around actually. And I kind of found that programs like Photoshop, now I don't use Photoshop anymore. I kind of found that Clip Studio and Sketchbook really have me covered for most things. They're far more reliable too. I found there for a while and Photoshop would just crash, and didn't matter what you did to try and stop it from doing so, it was just crashing. And it was for a long time very reliable, so I don't know what happened there, but I definitely wasn't the only one who noticed. My solution to them has been these two programs, Clip Studio and Sketchbook. I was really only using Photoshop, the coloring tool, really. I was never really drawing in it. I was never really in love with pencils like Photoshop had. I absolutely hated storyboard in Photoshop. Maybe I'll do one on Storyboard Pro as well actually. I love using that program for boards. Yeah, just in case you didn't know this guy was a bad guy, here he is doing his yoga on a tower of human skulls. Just in case you didn't know. I'd be very happy with that foot. Good foot. Okay, that's not so bad. I need to be a pressure black. You can actually double up layers on Sketchbook. So parts of that brush wouldn't be entirely, like it's not 100% opacity. So if it's not even kind of falling down that gradient, like 30 or 40 or 60, you can duplicate the layer and then bring it up close to that 100 mark. And you'll have something more like that. It's a little too ghostly for me just yet, I think. It's a bit too shadowy. Oh, I have like a smudge brush. That's not it. That's not it. Let's try to blur as I said that. Do it. I don't like. Oh, actually, I kind of do like how it's framing Efther here. That could work for us. Again, happy accidents. All because we're experimenting. Yeah, that's the one. Give it a harder edge as well. I'll go back. gonna edit that out now shortly. Okay, nib, transparent. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you watch me do all that again. We're just gonna cut out the bits. The bits of fade into the area, they're fine. There we go. That's Efther. So, let's sign drawing. There's our yoga level leader of the deck. Stuff you can read about all in the collected edition of GODFELL. Here you go. So, thanks again for joining us. I'm really enjoying doing these. I hope you are. I'll put out bits of this again on all the socials like I have on the previous ones, on Instagram and TikTok. I'm gonna find out now what happens with this video on YouTube. It goes up automatically, or do I have to go and re-upload the entire thing? No idea. Figuring this out as I go along. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll do another one on Friday, probably after lunch at some stage, and yeah, that's it. So you can now order GODFELL in any good bookshop. I really hope you like it. I have poured everything I could into that book, and I'm delighted with it. I'm very proud of it. Follow the book tour online to go and enter the raffle tickets. I've shared a bunch of them on Twitter and on Instagram. I share more every day as a kind of thing. I think there's one like every day. And we're coming close to the end of the month, so there'll be a new print in the Bennessy store next month, and a new theme. Maybe less of a hard and fast theme next month. I might break it up and do like Marvel or DC characters, or maybe book characters that I like. I don't know. But there we go. Efther. I'll put that with the other sketches now, and I will see you guys on Friday, hopefully. And hopefully here again next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Thanks a mil.